Welcome to the valley, the old farm. We're here with Gilles and his mother Madeline, and as you can see, we are in December. These are the couple of trees that we put in last time. Gilles just getting some water to them. He did a quick load when we finished up last time, and he just wants to make sure they've got plenty as the sun comes up here, as you can see. We have got some apples appearing at the trees that we've had in for a while, and as well as some melons, so we'll have some produce that we'll probably sell next time. There's a couple of priorities today. Obviously we have the baling to finish for the contract that we began last time, so we've all the bales are made. We just need to get them, the remainder, wrapped and delivered, and that should give us a nice stock of leftovers for ourselves, which we'll probably sell. We'll just keep an eye on the price. We have in fact now got some silage made in the bunker just up here on the right hand side. We'll just drive past it there. So that's all finished fermenting, so that's good to go. And the trailer and tractor's right where we left it. So now that we've got a little bit more water in those, we can take the tanker back. Our little crop's not looking too bad in there. We don't need to do anything with this part of our field. He's still mulling over what crop to put in the second part of the field here that we started to mark out. And of course we do have a big ploughing contract to get going with. But now that we've got some silage, what he's thinking is it'd be really handy to make some TMR for our own cows, and ultimately when we get the money from these contracts, be able to buy just a couple more cows. So with that in mind, he was keen to get that job out of the way before the store opened. But we can head over here now. He's had his eye on a little mixer that might do the trick quite nicely. It sort of comes in two varieties, but one looks like it'll suit us better than the other. You can see the big plough that's sitting there for us to make use of. We'll take that over to that field 1 later in the day. What's available in terms of mixing wagons? So the big ones are pretty dear. We don't have the funds nor enough animals to justify those, but shopping around he's found these two little ones, and so thinking this trailed one, it's 500 extra, but it might just be a little more stable with the wheels on the back. It unloads from the rear. Don't think there's anything. Wide tires wouldn't hurt. And just colour. The faded colour looks pretty good to me. So we're going to buy one of those. And so that should give us the ability to mix up a feed mix for our cows. Now we won't have enough money to buy any new ones until we collect on the contract. So that probably means we just make a little bit of feed and then head down and wrap those bales. We'll have daylight, full daylight very soon, so we'll be able to see what we're doing. And it might be just as easy to mix it on this side of the shed, actually. He did pick up earlier a scoop that he can run on the back of his little tractor. It'll probably be a fairly reasonable size for this job. So that little mixer holds 2,500 litres. I think this holds 1,000. So let's just... There we go. And we're going to lower you down. It's just a little bit fiddly. Whoops. Bit touchy. Just to get you enough off the ground. There we go. Yeah, it looks like it's about 1,000 litres. Oh, a little over 1,000. So that'll work quite well. So if we lift you up, 1,400 litres, we might be able to fit through the gap back down to our mixer. And just hoping we've got enough of a lift off the ground to be able to pop you in. There we go. Make sure we're all lined up there. Oops. Just load that in and away we go. While that's tipping in there, we can jump out and uncover our silage pit there. And just top this up with, whoops. We go. Just takes a little bit of fiddling because the controls just feel ever so slightly backwards compared to running it on the front loader. That's going to be plenty, I think. Just lacking a little bit of traction on the front by the looks. And just notice the one thing downside of where we put it to load out, looks like our manure pit attempted to load our bucket as soon as we had it emptied. So let's just get you in the right spot there. Swing around and away we go. And that should fill it up nicely. So now we open the door, we can put our scoop back in the silage pit. Might be a good way to go. So I think this is just very much a getting started operation for Jill. It's right, so there we go. Let's grab I was just about to say the size is enough for the cows we've got at the moment, and it works well with our shed, but clearly with the scale that we're likely to need to run to, with the overall challenge objective, we're going to need a little bit more. The advantage here, of course, we probably don't even need to back in. We could probably just drive straight through there. Would be nice and convenient. Hop in. Everything fits. Just need to find the trigger. Oops, drove straight through it. And there we go. So if we have a look on our cows and see how we're going. Our chickens, as you can see, we have 9. They're almost up to full health and they're starting to eat the grain we've given them. And our 2 cows are producing a small amount of milk, which is handy. And now they've got some TMR to be going on with, so we can keep an eye on what their feed rate is like. But now that we've got full sunlight, I think we'll head to the field where we were doing the baling and get those bales wrapped. Might as well pick up the bales that we've got here at the field. You can see there's a heap on the hillside there to wrap. Now let's just get these ones sorted and out of the way. Now that we can see what we're doing, we should be able to get the wrapping completed fairly swiftly. And that'll start to get some cash in the bank. Bill's been pondering the overall situation and sort of just trying to think about, you know, to have that $1 million after 5 years is well and good, and he's comfortable with his kind of medium plan to get in a position where he's generating sort of 40,000 a month for that last couple of years. The question is that's occupying his mind, particularly as he's starting to get a bit busier, is, well, okay, so how does he make the best use of the first few months? And in particular, this period through to next year, well, through to next spring. Because that probably influences what crop he puts in the ground and all sorts of things. Now, we've got a little bit of grain, so we can start the mill and we can make some bread. Our opportunity with these couple of contracts is indicating that if we're organised, we can get a little bit of cash, which gives us some money to invest, and the things that we've already got going at the farm cover the operating expenses, because, you know, let's face it, looking after his mum isn't particularly expensive. It'd be great if she was back in the bakery and making stuff happen, and might be able to inspire that if you get some flour organised and they get some bread. A real milestone will be getting some donuts going, and for that to happen, we need sugar. Now, We can buy a little bit of sugar, but that really is kind of a stopgap. It'll be covered by the sale of the donuts, but ultimately having a way to make sugar ourselves and, you know, make the operation self-sufficient just feels like the right thing to do. That's very much Jules' mindset. So what he's thinking is that a sugar factory next door is actually available for sale, and last time he looked it was around about 80,000 to buy it. Now it's not beyond the pale that with all the activities we've got going and a couple of more lucrative contracts, we could rustle up that sort of money over the next, say, 7 or 8 months. So he's kind of thinking, I don't have to do anything today. We can just sort of watch and see how that goes. But maybe that means rather than putting more grain in what's left of our field, maybe we should put some sugar beet in there to at least give us something to run through the sugar mill. And if we have a look at the way costs and the economy kind of works in this area, where's sugar on out? So bread is going to generate around about 1800. Oops. Sugar doesn't pay particularly well. But if we turn the sugar into donuts, donuts do. So kind of the way he's kind of thinking about it, if it's, let's just say it's 100,000 for the sugar mill, then we need to sell 40,000 litres of donuts to cover it, the cost of it. And because we've got all the other ingredients, we will have, we can get ourselves into that. So 40,000 litres is really only 10 lots of inputs. So 20,000 litres of sugar is all that's required. So he's kind of thinking that an interesting statistic would be to understand how much sugar that area that's left between the cow field and the barley that we've put in, how much sugar would that produce? And the only way to find that out is to plant it. But it doesn't feel like it's an impossible proposition to generate enough income to have paid for the sugar mill within the first 3 years. And if that's the case, that puts us in a really good position going into year 3 to be focusing on expanding the operation. Because if at the same time we've, you know, cows are breeding, generating a little bit more milk, we're able to figure out how to get some more flour made, we're starting to have a sort of a short-term plan that's heading in the right direction. So that's the way he's thinking about things. Now, of course, all that stuff means equipment's required, so there's a lot more shopping around to do to figure out what to do about the equipment. But that's the gist of how he's thinking about it. And what all that comes back to is we've got to get this job done so that we can get on with that ploughing contract we've taken on, because they're important steps on the way. So we might check back in with him when he's finished wrapping this field. Just coming up towards midday, and things progressing pretty well here. No new revelations, but all of the bales have been wrapped. So in a good position to get this job done and dusted. And quite a few bales, as we expected, should be left over for us. The interesting test will be, will this trailer load finish the delivery obligation, or will we have to take any extras across? At least the animal deal is pretty close to us, so it's not a difficult delivery. But, get these ones. 2 more on the trailer, and then we'll head over. Here we are at the animal dealership. Just coming up, so it's right in front of us there. And we drop the bales over behind those pink wrap, or beside those pink wrap ones on the right hand side. So let's find out how this works for us. And that has given us 98% transported. So I think it's fair to say that we need 1 more bale to finish the contract. Well, let's go and fill another trailer load. Alright, so let's work down the hill. We've got a couple on board. And I think from memory, we'll have just over a trailer load left here. But it shouldn't take us too long to get them picked up. So before we decide what to do, we'll have a look at the price. We've got 5 left here on the field, so sorry, 6 left here on the field. So let's see what the market price for silage is. It's pretty much at the top of the market. And given that as soon as we finish the contract, we lose the trailer, I think we'll just sell them. So I think what we'll do is we'll take this trailer load. What's the difference in price? It's only $1 between the 2 locations. So where is the biogas plant in relation to? We haven't been there so far. I'm guessing that's it up here. So it's much of a muchness distance-wise. I think we'll take this trailer load to the biogas plant because that is the best price, and then we'll deliver the rest of them to the animal dealers, which will finish the contract off. And I think that's the best of both worlds. So there's the biogas facility up there. Now, the only thing that's on Gilles' mind here is that there is a chance that the biogas facility is a cooperative run operation, And he's certainly not a member of the cooperative, so only time will tell if our produce is any good there. But we'll give it a whirl. Great view from the top of the hill here. Out over the lake. Let's see here. Pretty sure the unload point is around this way. So let's see if they'll take our produce. It's only one way to find out, unfortunately. And it could be a bit embarrassing if we unload it, only to find they don't want it. Which doesn't appear to be the case. They are very happy to take our product. So that was wonderful. 15,834 with a small penalty because our environmental score is not terrific. But that'll improve as our management of our land improves. So that was a nice little win, and we know now also if we've got excess silage of our own, we can pop it up here, which is literally just up the road, and drop it off. But Jill's feeling terrific about that because we'll get a few thousand more selling the last few at the animal dealer and the opportunity to finish the contract. Let's grab this last half dozen and we can get back to the animal dealer and close that out. And while we're there, given we're a bit more cashed up than he was expecting, we might be able to grab just a couple more cows for our cow barn as well. Let's pop into the animal dealership and unload another lot. It's the contract finished with another 6,294 to our account. And what we'd like to do while we're here is grab more Holsteins. So what he's thinking is another mature cow, and we'll just buy one because they're expensive, or a teenager I guess you'd say, but we'll buy 5 calves. They're a bit expensive to get them delivered, but that gives us 8 animals now, and the first couple of animals we know were generated several hundred litres of milk in the first month, so that should be good. We can take this tractor and trailer back to the dealership. Let's use finish this contract off, then use what's left of the day to get a start, have a sort of check out the field where we've got to do this ploughing, which will no doubt take us our spare time over the next couple of months. But you can see from our bank balance what he was talking about before. So there's 20,000 already. Let's just jump out here. This is the vehicle we want, but let's finish the contract first. Baling contract is complete. So 35,000 in the bank. And we've still got this big one to go. So really well on the way. Now this is going to be a little bit of a new experience for Gilles. He's not at all familiar with equipment of this sort of size. Let's have a look on our map where we're heading. Oh, it's the same sort of area back down the road. It was just, we drove past it. It's opposite the weeds filled field. So we'll head back down there. Before we do, we might just duck into the sugar mill and just check the price. Now he's kind of fit and can see a little bit of cash in the bank. He's just intrigued. Let's just over the back fence here. Maybe around this side. There you go, 80,000. So we don't have 80,000 at the moment, but it's not beyond reach, and that would really change the dynamics of getting everything back up and running at the bakery. So it's looking possible. Wants a bit more hard work, he says. But for now, first order of business, let's get this contract sorted. And it's just up here on the right hand side. It looks like it's this field with all the lime on it. What we might do is start by doing a tour around the edge. Let's unfold our plough. Put it on the other side. One of the things he knows about these ploughs is they like to turn to the right when they're oriented this way. Let's pop you down. It's not too bad. It's certainly wide, but so it won't be a as long an experience as if he tackled it with the plough he was using for his little field. But then again, this is a pretty sizable field. The other thing he wants to do, particularly given we've had a good cash inflow today, and kind of treats the silage bales as a bit of a bonus. So they paid for the cows. They also paid, he wants to put a couple more apple trees in, just beside the extra ones he's running. He's kind of aiming to get up to 10 at this stage. Thinks that might be a good mix to get us going. But you can already see this job's going to take us a little while. That field extends up round the corner there. But we've got an hour or so of daylight. Maybe not quite an hour of daylight left today. And when when Gilles was tipped off about this contract, he was keen to see what happened. You know, so the way he's kind of approaching it, this is a slow time of the year, so if he doesn't get anything else but between now and the end of Feb, it's not the end of the world when you've got a contract like this to help you out. So for now, just hop round the corner. See how we go as the shadows lengthen. As this is this month's contract, it doesn't hurt to just see what's available still. So that's the one we're doing. At this stage, though, not sure that he really wants to take on more ploughing until he can see the back of this one, so might just run the risk and leave those ones go. Just focus on getting as much of this done today. He's feeling like a pretty decent Christmas present for his mum. That's more money than they've had in the bank for a little while, and a little bit of cash flow that'll see them comfortably into the new year. And in fact, next time we should have a look at that. We've got quite a few apples there now, and the price is not horrible. We'll tend to need to sell them before they spoil, so we'll be looking to sell off some of those next time. We've also got some melons which fetch a pretty reasonable price, so, and we probably need to figure out how we're going to sell some milk. So there's more produce coming from the activities that we've undertaken. There is a trailer that he could load up in the shed, but might need a piece of loading those with a pallet fork on the back of the Ridgy track might be a little bit annoying. Might have to think about how to go about that. He's actually been sort of looking at the catalogues, and there's a really nice electric Farrison which he'd be keen to add. The issue, that's a telehandler. The issue that he's got though, if we have a look at the, unless he lucks in and it comes up for sale, and there's nothing in the sales that we could afford or use. Water trailer is very similar to the one we've got, but yeah, the Farrison new price is 99,000, so I guess it becomes a question of which is more important first, the efficiency of loading and moving stuff around in the yard. That's certainly a factor, or getting the down payment on the on the sugar factory. You know, maybe we just have to run with the risk that it takes us a little while to generate the funds. But for now, we've just about done a lap of the field. Coming up to the corner here, the light is definitely fading, and we've got 6%. So we'll probably be up around 7 or 8% as we close off the first headland. So that's 10 of those, feeling like there's a little bit of work to go. And all he intends to do from here is a couple more laps and then call it for a night and plant a couple more of those trees. We might leave everyone there. Thank you very much for watching. In fact, we might just go straight across here and work on the longest part of the field. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, stay safe. See ya.